Hello and welcome to another Cultural Foolishness recap of Power Book 3 Raising Kanan. This is the season finale and it was very
Finale.
eventful. Yes. I am Creed of Exodus Studios and ArkansasMars.com and my co-host is
Coach Tamara Simone, your favorite life coach's favorite life coach. If you don't know, now you know, baby, baby. I know
and
you want
there it
to. I
is.
know you
I was not even gonna say it. I was gonna
want
see if
to.
we could not,
Mhm.
but it's fine. We gonna one day we just gonna not do it, but we gonna keep people guessing. So this episode was very eventful. Obviously, what this episode is releasing, everybody should have seen it. It's some discord on the socials about it, and I want to talk about that real quick before we even get into the review, just from a standpoint of this. A lot of people saying this wasn't a good season. I don't disagree. This season had its ups and downs. Obviously, I have some complaints about some things and some storyline, especially the famous storyline resolution. I don't like. While on some levels it seems like the way Kane is acting and believing people that's not in the family also seems kind of stupid at the same time, even though he kind of hot-headed, it don't seem like he would completely disregard his family over some strangers. So that's weird. I don't like some of these things in the storyline. I just gotta say that before we get fully into it.
So I, while as a normal human being, don't like that because I'm just like, bro, like, why are you listening to some niggas named Snaps and Pop? But at the same time, I think that while we don't like it, it's necessary because we get to see with the disdain that he has for his mother, we get to see why he gravitated so hard to Tariq in the original Power.
Oh, it makes a ton of sense now because it's like
Because he's like, I've
he
been there. I was
completely
you.
identify with Tyreek because he was essentially the Tyreek, but instead of it with his father, it was his mother. And that's the
Like,
only difference, seriously.
literally, everything from.
Because she basically a female ghost for real, if you want to keep it a buck, which I
Yeah.
think they did that on purpose too, obviously. So, the first scene in we
Hold on, what real quick. I want to give my 2 cents to say I think it was a good solid season. I think that some of the I guess the discord as you mentioned about it not really being that good of a season is because it's being compared to last season, which is really good.
Yeah, last season was like chef's kiss.
So
I
I think
mean,
that's what it is personally.
yeah, for sure. But with that being said,
Hmm.
this was a good season,
Hmm.
and it just, it's not perfect, nothing is. So every once in a while you get like a damn near perfect season of television. And nine times out of ten, ain't even the last season. Because most shows that have them perfect seasons, it'd be in the middle somewhere. The last season, everybody be complaining. And we getting towards the end. So,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
is what it is. So, first scene in, he finds out that Crystal is dead and, acts
Rock tells him, and he
accordingly.
loses his damn mind. Um, he loses it, and Juke is kind of like, this nigga's crazy. But he kind of, once he semi or calms down, or just better yet, stop throwing shit. Not really
Mhm.
calm down, but just stop throwing stuff. Then he kind of tells Juke that it's not just Crystal. It's OC and it's famous and it's like it's the buildup of all these people who just keep
Of
getting
course.
dropped around them. So
And he also think Rock did everything, and that's crazy. I mean,
first of all, how why would she take out OC, she couldn't even see that fool. You know how little he was in comparison. She's tall.
Little, little.
Just
She wear heels, so she wouldn't have been able to
she
see
don't
them.
walk with her head down. She walks with her
No,
head up. She would
she
literally walk. She would literally
right
walk
past them.
top of that fool. She would,
Hmm.
man, please. She has no motivation to do anything to him.
Mm-mm.
And like, if he stole your stash, like there's a strong possibility that he stole your stash because as soon as your money went missing, then so did he. Like, I
Which
don't
he
even know what
knows
you're talking
that. He
about.
knows that. So I don't know what, again, holes in the plot. He's suspending reality in a way, out of anger and past transgressions of Rock. And okay, fine. So, then we get in, speaking of Rock, we get into her and Lou are confronting Unique, and Unique is talking super greasy. First of all, I just have to say, because we said this all Karen, I have to say it, reiterate it. Lou showed his younger brotherness in that moment because I would have been on Unique head and the whole plan of the larger thing would have got fucked up because I would have got shot trying to choke dude.
So then, is that Lou being a younger brother, or is he exercising extreme emotional intelligence?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's a little bit of both because I feel like
There's a
while the
bigger
older
plan at
brother,
play than this nigga popping off and talking crazy.
Mhm.
Everything he said is like, all right, my guy, noted. Plus, they're outnumbered and outgunned.
Mhm.
So, and not only that, but how he gon' how he gonna flip out more so than his sister? Like she was sitting there cool as a cucumber. She was really ignoring his ass, low key. She was
Yeah,
like,
she had to because that was crazy. He was like outrageous. He was pretty outrageous. We're not even, if you're watching this, you watched the show. I'm not gonna repeat everything the Negro said. We saw it.
I'm
He
not
was
repeating any
very
of it.
disrespectful.
Look, I'm not repeating any of that. I'm a
Very,
Christian.
very
Okay,
disrespectful. Very,
I'm
very
a Christian. I'm not
disrespectful.
repeating any. I'm a woman of God. I'm not repeating any of that. That was out of control.
Yeah, very disrespectful, but obviously setting the stage for the beef to continue and
Heightened.
resolve and resolve at some point, but it's heightened at this point. It ain't nothing resolved unless whatever we think happened at the end of the episode actually happened, and we'll get to that. So, the next thing was Marvin going to Stefano and trying to salvage that relationship, which
Stefano was just not hearing it. It's
he
so sad
wasn't,
seeing them like not
because
friends.
they was used to laugh and eat. It was just so fun. And look at Tony Danza and Marvin. We love this, but no, Marvin had to keep
He was
fucking off.
he said love don't live here anymore. That's what Stefano said. He said love
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
live here anymore. And at the same time, like if you looking at it from Stefano's point of view, he wasn't wrong because he come in, Marvin come in all hyped up like you can't trust early, and he's like, no, my nigga, you brought early to me. So
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 how can you go against the motherfucker you vouched for? So you
or
shouldn't have brought him here.
right, if he can't be trusted, then he should have never been brought in. And I find out that you knew about the situation all the time. Now you may not have known whose man it was, but when we sat down and ate spaghetti, then you knew and you continued to eat spaghetti. So now I feel like you keeping secrets and you can't be trusted and you kick it with people who can't be trusted. So
So
I get them being like, get the fuck on up out my face. I get it. It's Marvin.
yeah,
Okay. It's okay. Marvin rectifies the situation, although it doesn't for real change nothing on the Stefano front. But we'll
no.
get to that later as well. Or do you want to get
Hmm.
to it now?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
So this goofy ass nigga early, he knows that, he gotta he has to dip off. He knows that he cannot be like out and about for real because he knows that he didn't went to Stefano and that he didn't mess some stuff up and that Marvin is going to be on his ass. So he's somewhere ducked away in a hotel room full of guns, prepared for, the inevitable, but not prepared enough because he sends his mans to get some food. And then when the mans come back, then Marvin bombards his way into the room and unalives both of them. And in true Marvin fashion, took the food.
That part made me laugh because and obviously we mentioned this damn near every review. So when I saw that, it made me think of you immediately. I know Tamara is pleased because he took the food with him. I like
Highly.
how he looked at the receipt. He was like, "Oh
Oh,
shit, that's probably good. Let me go ahead. You got wings with the sauce, nigga. Shoot, with some fries. Shit,
right, little side of fried rice. Okay, yeah,
shit,
yeah.
motherfucker, shit.
Right,
Taking
okay.
that."
Yeah. Look, niggas trying to eat good. I'm gonna fuck this up tonight. Yes. So I think that all that random eating is what keeps him alive. So
Well, you better keep doing it because the way things looking, I think his uh, ticket about to get punched very soon. To be
I was
honest.
very scared that his time would be up with this season. So when he made it out that jam, I was like, that's why you took the Chinese food. I love that for him.
Well, let's
Shout
jump
out to
around a
Marvin.
little.
Yeah, so
Yes.
happy to have you still here.
We
You over
love
here
Marvin.
still looking
Shout out
after
to
us.
London Brown, who
Yes,
was a great
indeed.
stand-up comedian as well.
Absolutely. He gonna be, low key, he gonna be at the crib. He gonna be in Chicago doing stand up the weekend of Juneteenth. So we can discuss that further. But in the meantime, yeah, shout out to London Brown. Um, and he's still looking after the little girl, make sure that she's placed. Look, make sure he know where she placed and that she placed with some people that got some sense.
Yeah,
Clearly
no.
did what he asked because he
Well,
ain't locked down.
this time the people that they look like the fucking like storybook household. He was like, okay, there we go. Because I don't
Yeah,
want to have to come here and
cool.
shoot people again.
Right.
I
As
don't want
long
to
as I
do
know the
that.
address, then we good to go.
We good. I'll pop up on you. I'm Uncle Marvin. I wear
Yes,
gold
indeed.
chains.
And eat what I do.
And eat and eat. Probably not none of your unseasoned food, but um, so Juke and Rock met up at the little spot that they go to. What is it called? Lamont's.
Something like that. It was some type of down. I'm like, that shit, I
Mm,
just slapping. But before we get to that, because I do think it's very important that when Juke was talking to Kanan earlier, then
mm.
she made a point to say, like, why are you taking everything that Bonnie and Clyde, as she called them, say as law? Now he's too crazy to adhere to it, but
He
she
already peeping, yeah.
she peep it. But then too, the issue is that yet again she tries to get pizza, and here go this punk ass cop interrupting. Now this time she took it to go, so it's very possible
Hmm.
that she still ate it when she
No,
got.
she ate her pizza. She didn't throw it away this time. So,
But
and she always be happy too. Smile before she be
yes,
like, I got my motherfucker.
Mama
What
gonna
this
work
nigga
it out.
is?
Mama gonna
And
work it
here
out.
this nigga come.
So, right, every time.
Garcia.
So because she kind of asked him about Crystal. So now he looking at her, which is dumb because if she did something, then why would she come to you and inquire about it? He's so like, what he detecting? But I digress. But he gives her a
That's why she
tidbit,
walked off like whatever, because that shit is so stupid. I'm
but she
asking
gives
about the
him,
person I
right.
killed.
But she gives him, well, he gives her the tidbit to say, well, witnesses say that it was a black woman that came out of the building, which now got her looking away because she like, shit,
It could be right.
it could be
That's
right.
right. That's right. Okay, so back to what I was going to. They go to the diner, they talk. Juke confronts her about it, and then she's like, no. But at the same time, at a certain point in conversation, she kind of was like, didn't even deny it per se. She was just like, you need to chill, even asking me this shit type stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that didn't help probably Juke as far as feeling like maybe she didn't do it or not. But I get Rock's mentality because it's like you keep coming to me about some shit. I got so much other people that need to get shot. I ain't even thinking about these people that's in your life. What are you talking about? If we
And
being real.
again, what is my purpose of doing anything to that girl? Like
Hmm.
literally, I have no reason to do anybody else that I popped. I had a reason for it. Like Kane is like, oh, you popped my father. Yeah, because it was either pop him or Marvin goes to jail, and Marvin ain't going to jail. So it's like if
Right.
she
It was
doing it, she not.
always a larger reason. And he just mad. So he not looking at it the objective way,
Well, the thing he
basically.
feels like, oh, the thing with Famous is, oh, maybe she got wind of him possibly snitching, and that was why she would do it. But it's also like that's it's a lot of maybes and it's no certainty. Like the other things were
Hmm.
very certain. So yeah, I definitely get Rock's point of view, and it just also feels like she could tell them a million times that she didn't do it, and they both because at this point both of them, she could tell them a million times I didn't do it, and it's just gonna fall on deaf ears. So it's kind of like, man, look, I my all my shit is falling apart. I don't have time for this. Um,
Right. Right. But of course, they're not looking at it like that. I want to jump to Stefano and what's the cat's name from Jersey name again?
can we put just a pin in that? Cause well, no, I guess we could jump to it. I wanted to go to when Rock was talking to the dude in the restaurant, and he was,
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. No, let's go back to that real quick.
so Rock meets up with, one of the people who are running the front, the one of the special sauce places, even though, because of Neat, then they got the sign in the door saying no special sauce. But since, she got some work flowing or whatever, and she's like, hey, let's get to it. And he's like, no, I'm done. And I told you I'm done. And she's basically like, yeah, you can't be done. Like, that's not how this goes. And so he tells her, like, look, you could do whatever you want to me. I'm old anyway. I'm about to be gone. I already got my family and sent them back to China. So you can't find them. So I'm done. Do what you got to do. But what he said was very powerful when he talked about that like what did he it was like
Proverb.
that proverb and talking about the what was it, the blind and deaf like villain or
It
whatever
was
the case.
basically the monster was
Yes,
doing stuff and not really realizing they was the monster
because they're
because
deaf and blind, then
right.
they can't see themselves in that way. And so, he pretty much was like, that's you. Like the premise of the story was that that's you. So I felt like that was very important because you got it from him. She got it from Juke. She
Hmm.
definitely got it from Kanan, and she even had a little back and forth with Marvin. So the only
Hmm.
person who's not looking at her in that way in this episode is Lou, but he's
They
already
already
said
had that confrontation
exactly.
a long time ago.
So
So,
so she's exposed that part of her to everybody essentially.
hmm, yep, that's true. So, back to Stefano and the Jersey boss. I don't remember his
I can't
name.
remember. He's not worth remembering, low key.
Uh, hmm, that part. So they meet up and it's revealed. Which do we know this the whole time? I don't think we did.
No, it was revealed here. And so what led to it is after the conversation with Neek and Rock, where Rock is like, since you want to keep like if since you want to mess with my son, then I can mess with your family. So he goes to um Neek goes to Sal's widow, Teresa, and they have a conversation. And basically, she's like, I'm going to talk to the Jersey boss. He needs to get off his ass and do something about this, but I'm going to make sure that you and your family is good. Um, Nick finessing anyway. So
Hard.
hard. I was just like, why are you caressing this white woman like this? Anyway, so he does that. And as a result, Stefano and the Jersey boss meet up, and it's revealed that the plan was to take out Sal so that he could then step in and be the boss, but have the blacks do it so that it wouldn't look like they were involved for real,
Right.
which was trash.
Mhm. But common practice, they
Common
definitely
practice, yes.
do these things for sure.
And as a result, now he's in a bit of a situation because the wife, the widow, then called and said, "Hey, some retribution needs to happen." But he's like, "How do I go about yes, but like me and
I did
Stephanie,
it.
right? Exactly. So how
I
do you
did
do
it.
retribution on yourself?" Um. So unfortunately, Jersey Boss, we'll call him that. He basically, like Stefano give him a little bit of work or whatever like that, as far as like, no, this is you, whatever. And then he basically is like, okay, well, um, we're gonna stay out of Queens. We'll just
You
go back
got
to
it,
Jersey.
basically.
You got it. It's all good. And then when they're supposed to hug on it, then he just stabs Stefano.
But he didn't kill him.
And it's like that's why you was never a
And
boss
that and that's the stupid part. It's like, dude, you should have slit his damn throat, dog. Like, why are you making it that this nigga might
or
pull
stabbed them
through?
more than once. Like, do you didn't shank them or something like
Yeah,
you just did like a
yeah.
one cutter and then walked off like you ate. Like, no.
No,
That's
and
why you wasn't the boss to begin with. That's why
yeah,
Sal was
so
granted because you don't
he
know.
might not, 9 times out of 10, he might be gone, but he might not be because he ain't dead. At the end,
Well,
and within this episode, they did not declare him dead.
he's touch and go is essentially what they
Hmm.
said, which is bad for Jersey balls because it's like now you shown all your cards, but you showed them too soon. So it's like I mean, if and so he's kept alive for season 5, then I imagine that all of the beef and whatever else with Rock and Marvin is gonna kind of like, look, go get them or whatever, cause now it's a war for real. Like now it's a war for real. So um so yeah.
Yeah, that storyline is going to unfold interestingly next season. And speaking of a splinter of that storyline, just to expound on the conversation with Rock and Marvin, and basically her yelling at him for messing up everything, which he did do that. So I can't really be like, but she over. No, she's not overreacting. He actually did jag everything up quite nicely. Um, what does she call him? A dollar
A
short, or
day late and a dollar
dating a dollar
short
short of
hard.
Marvin. Between her and the like, she should liked her mother more because they definitely call Marvin names the same way. I'm just saying.
We got nothing but love for you, and we are trying to
I'm
protect
just saying.
y'all
We
off.
just saying what the show doing. We fuck with you though, but just they got you out here looking crazy on the show. Uh
It's he be looking crazy, but then he make up for it in other ways. That's why you can't like outright not like him. You can't just be like, oh, he a
They
fuck
do
up.
that on
'Cause it's like,
purpose.
yeah, yeah. So I
Is he a
mean,
fuck up and they'll go help the little white baby? You know, it's like, okay.
well, so there's that happened, and that's unfortunate. I want to jump to when Kanan went to see his grandmother at her grave site.
Hmm.
Um, and he's kind of having a conversation with her. We see that it's the year 1992, just in case anyone was confused on the timing.
Right.
So
Which I think in a way we might have all been kind of not clear what the timelines were until we saw that.
well, it just felt like it's been like, and we're like, oh, it's season 4, so it's been like 3, 4 years. No, it's been a hot
No,
18
it's a
months.
year and yeah, maybe 20 at best.
Um, yeah. So but as he's talking to his grandmother at her gravesite, then he is basically like, I know you said she my mother and blah blah blah, but he's just like, I don't know what I'm gonna do to her because he's so filled with anger. Um, and then he has a conversation with Lou that don't help at all.
Because Lou was basically like, yeah, I'm back down with her, and he pissed about it and is confused why he back messing with her after everything they went through. But he like, family is family, bruh. Like, I don't know what to tell you,
Yeah.
essentially.
And he mentions that Rock is the one who laid Grandma to rest, essentially, but it wasn't from him. It wasn't from a place of him snitching. He was saying it to say that she did what me and Marvin weren't able to do. She took something so heavy and she put it on her back. And he said something along the lines of like, Rock is the hardest nigga I know, which,
Hmm. Yeah.
yes. Yes.
Yes. That is very accurate assessments of how she moves around, for sure.
Yes.
Um,
But that didn't help Kanan. That just pissed him off more and made him feel more justified in what he was already thinking.
mhm, true. Yeah, that didn't help
Which
because
is
now he like
unfortunate because it really was his grandma, like, get me out of here.
begging, yeah,
Yeah.
begging people, yeah.
So anyway, where you
Mhm.
want to go next?
So let's talk about the introduction,
Talk
the
about the
very
introduction.
let's talk about it real quick because it's really a
Well,
short scene.
it was two intro. Like it was when Kane went to talk to Snaps and Pop because he wanted to ask about Crystal. He was like, "Hey, does anybody know about Crystal? Because I know that she's up out of here. So I want to know what happened." He went to Snaps and Pop. He went back to the father that he beat up. So he's going to these people trying to find out what happened to Crystal. So he goes to Snaps and Pop, and in that conversation is when they first kind of say like, "Yeah, we want to introduce you to, I guess it's a nephew."
A nephew, yeah.
And he was putting in work in East New York, and that I feel like y'all would be blah blah blah. And Kanan initially takes it as you trying to just have me just work for you or whatever like that. And they was like, no, it's like a partnership. They just kind of put their little spin on it. So that's when he first kind of gets wind of, okay, they want me to work with this person, and they kind of want to bring Neek into it also. So okay, so then they make the introduction. And what's the dude's name? Shamik Moore? Is that his
Hmm.
real name?
Yeah.
So I I like him as an actor a lot. I will say that the things that I've seen him in, I've enjoyed. Not crazy about him as a person, but also, and I guess like as time goes on, we'll see. But it just don't seem like he breathes for real.
Hmm.
And I guess because I just wasn't like the way that Breeze was talked about in the original Power. I wasn't expecting for him to pull up with the biggest smile on his face. This like I don't know.
Hmm.
Like I was expecting him to pull up like a version of Rock or Neek, not happy
Mm.
go lucky,
Mm.
ultra flashy. Like we was
Right,
in
because he
a
put
red,
up in a red Porsche
yeah. So
in the
I
middle of the
wasn't
hood.
expecting that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
I
don't
don't
know
know.
about
We'll
that.
see
I
though.
don't know.
We'll
We gonna
see.
see. They're obviously gonna be a big part of next season, so
He
we
better
gonna
put them
see.
teeth away. He way too. He all up in here with his. He got to put them teeth
Sidebar
away.
before we get into the rest of this, BMF is starting back when?
June.
I guess we should do the last season because you know it ain't gonna be another one after
No, no, it won't.
that.
No, it won't.
I was actually when I saw the preview today, I was like, "Oh, they did what? The way they was talking, I didn't know they got around to it."
No, I knew they did it because they had already filmed it a little bit ago, so I
Oh,
wasn't stressed
okay.
about that. I didn't think it would come out.
Well, that'll be the next thing you'll see from us because obviously we're done with good old power for the moment. So, I want to talk about Juke. Two things with Juke. First, her and Aisha having a little tender moment.
Now, do you want to talk about that first, or do you want to talk about when they met up with the one who used to manage them when they were in the group?
That's exactly what I want to talk about. Thank you for reminding me of that detail. So she obviously, wanted to see them because what happened to Crystal and
Hmm.
want to see how they were doing. And Juke just gone. I mean, part of her probably want to get retribution to a degree, but at the same time, I don't even know how strong that feeling is because she didn't super mess with her. But I know for Kanan's sake, yeah.
It's for Kanan's sake, and at this point, she feels like Rock did it. So it's kind of both of those things
Hmm.
that that kind of
That's
happen.
why she didn't really stop him when he left because she kind of don't think she believed it too to a degree. That's why she was like, well,
Well, plus he
uh,
also screamed at her and was like, "If you ain't with me, you against me." Like, oh,
really?
crazy.
Yeah. Well,
Spiraling. Um, yes. So the manager is, she's like, hey, like I know that, she was dating your cousin. Like, she's and Juke was real like beyond
just that,
stoic.
yeah.
So, she's like, what's going on with you? And she just, not really speaking on it for real. She's just not really articulating what's going on with her. So and then, a little later, then her and Aisha have their little get it on session.
Hmm.
Um, and it was interesting.
Cause she basically was like, man, you should come to school and all of this. And she was like, man, if this was, some months ago, I would have jumped at that. But now I want to be where I am. I want my father looked out for me and held me down. I want to look out for him. That was basically her
mhm,
reasoning.
yes, yes. Which was, like when if you go back to, season 1 and 2 when wasn't crazy about Marvin. We wasn't crazy about Marvin as a parent. I'm sorry, I've always rocked with Marvin. But as a parent, you was looking at him like, did you just beat up your daughter because you found out she was gay? And like, all the things. But then like slowly but surely he just as he worked on him, then he was able to, again, tap into that parental unconditional love and just love her for who she was and not who he wanted her to be. And I mean, it got to a point where he was encouraging her, like, oh, my baby got taste, you know what I'm saying? She pulling some dimes out here. And and they got to that point. And so,
Hmm.
that and I mean everything with the army and like all the things like he has shown her he has changed and he has shown her that he got her no matter what. So she just feels like it's not right for me to try to leave him, especially since she feels like he's the only person who got her in that way.
Right. Absolutely. And that's why her loyalty is leaning towards not leaving New York and staying around him. And obviously, she's got an affinity for shooting people and doing knucklehead gangster things. So she kind of feeling that as well. So I don't know. I don't know. But let's get into some other nefarious things from this episode. So we already alluded to it earlier about Neat Girl Pernessa. Only reason I even remember her name is because it's absurd. That's I wouldn't even remember her name, but
No,
Pernessa,
you wouldn't. You wouldn't.
like
I
anyway.
think initially I forgot because it was so absurd, but then I made it a point to recall, to remember because it
No,
was
I heard it one or two
uh,
times, and that was it for me. I remember because it's
yeah.
ridiculous.
And so
So,
after the, Neek's whole, I guess we can call it spaz out session, then
hmm,
Miku just starts following Pernessa around because he's trying to see, okay, where she posted up at, what kind of car she drive, and all. Again, real G's move in silence like lasagna. He
hmm.
jump tough with him while he was talking crazy and outgunned. He was like, "Cool, I'm just gonna abduct your son and woman, and all will be well."
And say you nah, now I got your bitch. Now what? Holla at me.
And your son. And your son. Like I didn't pull out
hmm.
B Rilla because he's not doing anything else right now. So I didn't pull out my
Super
boy.
unbusy.
He ain't busy.
He
So
was he was like ready. He was like, word, let me get my coat.
okay. In fact, look, the last you tell, he like, let me start the car because he has the coat on 24/7 any damn way.
That part. He had the crib with the coat on, holding a baby and shit. Baby just smelling blunt smoke and cigarettes on the coat and shit,
And,
coughing.
and outside and old
And he
Chinese
like,
food and
you okay, baby?
baby crying. He's like, why she don't want me? Because you stink. Anywho. Um,
Real quick, back to Unique and his, you know, war on rock and her organization. Start didn't they start burning more of the spots down, or is this
So
the
basically, yeah. So
yeah.
basically, when Jersey Boss gave the go to be like, yeah, no, we're going to war, take them out. Then Meek was like, okay, like say less. I've been waiting on this. So they start getting Molotov cocktails ready and loading up on the ammunition, and from there they proceed to just set on fire all the little drug fronts, and then they go, didn't they light up Stefano's spot? I'm like, man, so now where he
Yeah,
spaghetti at?
yeah. And then they caught Marvin out going to get some snacks at the gas station. Because he
And
wasn't at the pump, so I know he was getting some snacks.
I mean, look, them Fritos ain't gonna eat themselves. So
They're
yeah, he
not. They're
pulled up.
not. So
Look,
he
just
made
look.
it though.
He
Like
hadn't
they
eaten
attempted.
since he ate Early's food. So who knows how long ago that was. So he went to get him some little sniggety snacks. And a drive by ensued. He got up out that jam. Love that for him. When he got up, I was like, oh, oh.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna die that episode. If I'm gonna be
I was
honest
like,
with
see,
you,
this is you ate the Chinese food and now you alive.
it's a correlation with him eating. So, I think we actually towards the end, because the next scene was the scene.
Well, so before we get to the scene,
Okay.
um, I want to go back to Juke because she's at the house, kind of cleaning up after Aisha leaves or whatever like that, getting the scent out the air, if you will. And so Marvin comes home, and he's like, "I'm not tripping off you having company, like whatever." And so they get to talking. And even though Marvin and Rockton had some pretty intense words, then even Marvin is like, there's no universe where she did that. And if she did that, I would know. And I'm telling you, she didn't do that.
Mhm.
Um, so I felt like that was important for sure and worth mentioning, even though I
It's
don't,
not
for
gonna
one,
matter.
it don't matter because even if Juke told that to Kanan, he don't care. So it's like,
Mm.
all right. But at the finale of the finale is
Yeah. He pulls up at the crib.
Kanan pulls up at the crib and just outright pulls a piece on Rock. And they have some dialogue back and forth. Again, Rock is like, I did not do that to Crystal, and I did not do that to your friend. I would never do
Mhm.
that to your friend. Um, he don't care. So again,
Mhm.
I'm just like,
But let's unpack this for a second. Let's be real here. As much as yes, in this moment she is telling the truth. If Famous was an actual threat, she would have did that.
no, I agree.
And Crystal, if she was the actual threat in some type of way, she would have did that. So he knows that, not that it justifies her getting killed or not, because we don't know um over that, but the fact that this is why it happened is because you've already set a precedent of you would do these things, and that's why he don't trust you you
Mhm.
know so pretty crazy.
Yeah,
And
just
just to
close her
speak
eyes.
on it
Yeah.
beforehand, you were off camera. We were talking about there was an episode that referred to Kanan going to see his mom,
So
but
so in the original Power, and I went back to the episode to make sure that I got the entire context and dialogue so that I can speak on this today, because that's what you do. You do your research before you just get on these internet streets and start talking. So I did, and in the episode is when Kanan gets out of jail and he goes to see Ghost, and basically he tells Ghost that as soon as he got out of jail, he went to see his mom's, and then he came there to Ghost's penthouse. So I just feel like if and so we come back here next in 2026. So that's when they said, right, season 5 it will be airing sometime in 2026. If we get back here in a year and she's gone, I feel like that is a hole in the plot, because I don't see him going to his mother's grave immediately after getting out of jail. Now, someone who did a bid and then get out of jail and go see they mama who's very much so alive makes perfect sense. But oh, I just got out, take me to the grave site. That seems weird. And the
mm,
only way that it's somewhat excusable is if, as soon as he takes her out, he finds out that Snaps and Pop took out Famous, and Snaps and Pop took out Crystal, and all of the things. And then he has like this remorse and this guilt. That's the only way it still don't make sense, but it kind of would make sense a
I
little
think it
bit.
will make sense
Yeah.
if that happens. I think it
I
don't
just
even
still
kind of
wouldn't
make
make
sense. I
sense.
think it still makes sense just because
Not the first place you go.
I don't know, just the type
Not
of
after doing a
person
dime.
Kanan is.
Not after doing a dime. That's not the first place you go after doing a dime.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I just don't.
I agree with you, but obviously they're gonna make things up for the sake of these TV show plots. So it's not completely out of a realm, but
I better
I don't
Katina
know.
Miller. I better see you next season because it don't make no damn sense if I don't. Okay, thank you.
You know, I want to see her because she gonna wear one of them outfits. So, um, yes, this was a very good season. Definitely some ups and downs for sure. I hope that next season we get to see the introduction of Tommy and Ghost
I
because what
mean,
the hell at this point?
and next season is the final season, so
Right.
it may
So even if it's towards the end of the season, I wouldn't even be mad because I know they want to do a
they're doing
prequel with
origin.
them.
They're doing
So
origin
make
with
that
them.
lead into that. So that would make sense to me. So we'll see. But I enjoyed it still. I still feel like this is one of the best spinoff of the Power Universe spinoffs, honestly, even this season was, quote unquote, a weaker season, and I still felt like it
I
still
enjoy it.
stands up. So,
Now I didn't see some folks saying it is better than the original Power, and the crack that y'all smoking, you really need to get off it. You really need to just say no.
yeah, because we was like running home to see that. That was like before you could even do it on demand the same way, I think initially. Like you had to really
And
go and
Power
watch it.
came on a Saturday night
Hmm.
when you supposed to be out turning
And
up.
people went to watch Power and then went out.
Yes, yes.
Big time. Because I definitely did that. I was like, man, let me see what these fools are. Oh man, that was crazy. All right, let's go kick it.
And if somebody gave spoilers, oh, you deleted them out your whole life. I ain't seen y'all delete nobody over Raising Kanan or Thor or Ghost. Y'all was like, all right, well, shit, I'm still gonna watch it, but good looking for the heads up. No, people was catching fades when they was giving spoilers on Power. So Power is the GOAT. It is the premise. It is the thing, and
Hmm.
the universes that come from it. Then I'm looking forward to Origins quite a bit.
Yes.
I'm really looking
That's
forward
the
to
one
it. I saw like
I'm
a little
looking
snippet
forward
of it.
to.
I'm looking forward to Origins. And I guess look, that'll be all that's left.
I mean, that's really it. That should be the bookend for the whole thing. The omega to the alpha, as if you will. But
Mhm.
we'll be back in a couple weeks for BMF because we're gonna go ahead and wrap that on up and culture foolishness. The podcast is definitely will be back in June as well. So you're gonna see our faces and I hear our voices. We will be back for sure. But thank you guys for rocking with us this season and listening to our opinions. I was looking through the views on YouTube and we had some episodes where some people really messing with it. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
Shout
And
out to you.
we will be back next season for Power, but we will be back much sooner with a new season of Cultural Foolishness podcast as well as a review to BMF. So we will be back. And peace, peace. I am Creed of Architects of Mars and ExitStudios.com. My co-host is.
Coach Tamara Simone.
Peace, peace, everybody. We will see you next time.